Hi everybody, I'm Tyler from ComixBrew, and I'm here with Josh.
Hi.
He's our resident Marvel comic expert, and I've got a couple questions for him. I want to hear about the past of Marvel Comics, I want to hear about some of the characters, and this is the guy to go to. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Josh is going to share his expertise, and hopefully we're all going to learn a few things.
I'll do what I can.
Excellent. So Josh, when did Marvel Comics start publishing?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, actually the first Marvel comic was published in the 1860s during the Civil War.
That long ago?
Actually, yeah, it was a way to bolster the Union troops against the Confederacy was Marvel Comics. Actually, back in the day it was called Fantasy Comics. The Marvel name actually was appropriated later on, like the 1910s.
Where did they get the name Marvel?
The company Fantasy Comics in the Civil War era was started by Jonathan Fantasy, and he handed the company down through the line for 50 years or so until the 1910s came around. Fantasy wasn't really a key word anymore. People were looking for more of that sci-fi stuff back then.
Well, so we know there's a lot of old school creators that are big in Marvel Comics, like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. So how did they get involved in the picture? Where did they come from to Marvel Comics?
Kirby got involved at ground level. He was involved from like 1930 on. Stan Lee actually was having sex with this woman, and on her headboard was a Jack Kirby drawing that he had sold at a show. Right as he, you know, finishes, he's like, "My God, I found my partner."
It's like inspiration.
Yes.
It's like he found his muse right there in that moment.
Yep.
It's interesting.
And out of that came, you know, Spider-Man.
We know how they got involved in Marvel Comics, but how did they come up with Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four? I mean, these iconic characters.
Well, which one do you want me to talk about?
Well, you mentioned Spider-Man. Let's go Spider-Man first.
Well, Stan Lee, not only being a fabulous writer, was also a handy-dandy chemist. And he was actually fucking around with biochemistry of spiders and actually got bit himself. He had like a 24-hour period of being able to walk on walls. This is well documented. I can't believe no one knows this.
I've never heard about this.
Where have you been?
Apparently in a cave. Well, then how about the Fantastic Four?
The Fantastic Four is a different story. They're based on Jack Kirby's experience, but not Jack Kirby himself. They're actually modeled after his second cousins in Arkansas.
Oh.
They're a group of four. They all live together. There's Susan, but Susan's actually the smartest one. Then there's Reed and Johnny. Now, Reed is Susan's cousin, and Johnny is Susan's brother. But John and Reed share Susan. Ben, little Benny.
Little Benny?
He is actually, it's undetermined if it's Johnny's son or Reed's son.
Oh.
But it has the same skin condition.
I mean, did they have the nickname for him? Is that where you got the thing?
Oh, they call him the Thang.
Ah, okay. How did Marvel evolve throughout the decades, along with like social change, politics? How did Marvel react to that?
A lot like Pokemon. They just change their form every 10 years or so.
Oh.
Got more powerful, different set of skills.
Just changed up like creators and stuff, or do you mean like they changed?
No, they changed their physical form. The building itself changed. Every 10 years, it gained more power, more health, more stats.
Is that why Marvel's been better than DC?
Marvel's been better than DC for quite a while because of their secret evolving process. It's actually the origin of the Marvel method.
Oh, can you explain the Marvel method? Like, what is the Marvel method?
Well, it's what we've been talking about all day. It's just Marvel's unique method of handling things. And it's been, like I said, it's rooted back in the Civil War era. Yeah, every 10 years Marvel becomes a different entity, and DC doesn't. And that's why DC is obviously inferior to Marvel.
Well, speaking of, you know, evolving and changing, a lot of things are changing in the comics industry right now. There's a lot of talk about digital sales, digital comics. What is Marvel doing with that? How are they adapting to that now?
Oh, absolutely avoiding it.
Entirely?
Entirely. There are no Marvel digital comics out there.
What is your favorite Marvel character?
Oh, favorite Marvel character? Probably Venom. The original Venom. Eddie Brock.
Not Matt Gargan or...
No.
So the original Eddie Brock.
Fuck Flash Thompson.
Fuck Flash Thompson.
Legless bitch.
Well, why do you like Eddie Brock more?
Well, because he, along with his suit being from outer space, he's an alien himself.
Is he? Where's he from?
He's from Iceland, dude.
I did not know that.
Yeah, illegally smuggled in an ice floe onto a shipping lane. Eddie Brock arrived in New York well ahead of Peter Parker's family, actually.
Is he that old?
Eddie Brock is an immortal.
Really?
Yeah, everyone from Iceland's immortal.
Well, thanks for being here, Josh. Thanks for telling us so much about the history of Marvel Comics.
Well, people need to know.
Exactly. I mean, this is a worthwhile topic, and apparently you are the man to go to for this. So if we ever have any questions again, I mean, would you be willing to come back?
I mean, you know where to go.
Exactly. Perfect. Because I'm Batman!